All right, you're looking to do some upgrades on your car. You're looking at trailing arms. Do I need them? What do they do? Let's find out. So you're upgrading your car. You're looking at tubular suspension. It's got done in the front. Looking at the back going, okay, trailing arms. Do I need these? Should I be thinking about box? Should I be looking at tubular? What about adjustables? What should I be considering? And why are tubular control arms even important? Bill, help me understand why the design 50 years ago is subpar today.
Well, way back when they designed these, when GM or even Ford, they had some cars that had these too. They needed to make a cheap part. They needed to make a part that they could stamp out hundreds and hundreds of thousands of them, or millions of them by the end of their run. And they needed to be really cheap, and they needed to do their job, which their job was just to keep the axle under the car, basically. And then we got to remember that these cars weren't all designed to be these like cool performance cars that we want them to be now.
So you got a 4,500 pound car now with 700 horsepower, a lot of torque. What falls short on the trailing arms?
The big thing is it's a stamped piece of steel. It's three-sided. It's not boxed in here. It's an open trailing arm, which means it's easier to twist. It's easier to flex. It's got wore-out rubber bushings on them.
Yeah, these ones are all dry rotted.
These are actually, like, this is off of an '87 car, but it goes. I mean, the same design pretty much goes back all the way to the '60s. And so these are about as new of a G-body trailing arm as you can get, and these are toast. This was even a low mileage car, and these are toast. So imagine you had like, a 72 Malibu or 71 Malibu that originally was like somebody's car to go take the cat to the vet, and they never replaced the bushings in them. Well, now they're 50 years old, and guess what they're like?
Yeah.
Real bad.
Bring your cat to the vet, right. Another thing I was noticing with these trailing arms is the fact that these ones actually had the provisions for sway bars. Mm-hmm. Not all of them had that. Mm-hmm. So over the years, what you see a lot of hot rodders do is, try to strengthen things a little bit. They will go through and they'll box these.
Yeah, there's boxing kits you can weld in there, and GM even had on some of their high performance car, like the very high performance cars. They even dabbled with some fully boxed ones that they had a kit that they put in. Mm-hmm. So, like, even GM knew back in the day that they weren't strong enough to put up to real horsepower or
so
hard launches.
If you're going to go through and upgrade these, you can either take what you have and try to refurbish them. You spend all that time and energy, repainting it, putting new bushings in, welding in, obviously, a filler plate of some sort up there. But then you're ultimately still left with this, big, heavy.
Well, let's think about that for a second. So let's say you had one of these old ones, and you're going to redo it. You're like, okay, well, I want it to be powder coated. I want it to be nice. Okay, so you probably don't have a powder coating business of your own, do you? No. So you're paying somebody to do it. I've never gotten anything powder coated for less than 70 or 80 bucks, even if it's a single part. So you bring this to somebody to sandblast it and powder coat it, and then you got to put in new bushings. I mean, just to refurbish your old one, you're going to be into it for a couple $100 by the time it's all done, or at least well over 100.
Or you just start off with something like this. You open the box, and here you go. This thing is already powder coated.
It's already got grease zerks on it.
Grease zerks, yep, something that you didn't have from the factory.
There ain't no grease zerks on here.
You don't need no grease zerks. But then you have polyurethane bushings, and you just have basically a pre-engineered solution right out of the box. And this will hold up to the power you throw at it.
So hold up to anything you can put at it. It's big, thick steel, fully boxed piece of tubing. She's rad.
Yep. No, it's a nice piece. Now for the uppers though, there's a couple different options. We have two different tubular versions. We have one that's fixed. And I mean, ultimately, Bill, this would be something for like if you just want more of a stock ride height, right?
Stock ride height, you just want better parts, newer parts.
Yep. So again, you're doing that update, a lot stronger, new bushings, grease zerk, the whole works. Now, when should one consider an adjustable version? Where does that come into play?
If you're changing the ride height of the car significantly, let's say if you're lowering the car a half of an inch, you're not going to make that much of a change. But if you're lowering the car an inch and a half, 2 inches in the back, your pinion angle is going to change, because all these arms, as they pivot, they're all changing basically their length. And what that does for your rear end or your differential is it points your pinion down in most cases.
So the adjustable one will allow you to basically draw that back up,
Yep.
so that you're able to get that pinion angle back.
Yeah,
straight.
you can reset the pinion angle to what it should be, so you don't wind up with things like horrible driveline vibrations or harmonic things that go on when you hit 62.5 miles an hour and you get this
64.
64.
Yep.
Yeah, so you don't want that. If you're changing the ride height of your car significantly, an adjustable arm's a real good way to make sure that the car is actually going to function as you want it to, and not sacrifice drivability and U-joint life.
Right, exactly. But yeah, there's a lot of advantages to going to a tubular trailing arm, and again, it's a question we get a lot. You know, someone's going through, they're doing their front control arms, they're doing their coilovers and everything, they're going, well, what's the benefit of a tubular trailer arm? So hopefully this helps clear up some of those questions you might have. If you have other questions on the projects that you're working on, make sure to obviously reach out to us. We're happy to help. Visit us on social media, and ultimately, don't forget to go drive.
Well, okay. Now I'm recording whenever you're ready.
Audio.
Is that thing recording now?
It's recording. It's a like clap on, clap off type of deal. So.